Welcome to 222 Paranormal Podcast with your hosts, Jen and Joe.
Welcome back, listeners. We're so happy to have everybody here. We have very, very special guests today.
Yep.
And so with us today, we have Dr. Christopher Macklin, author, health and wellness practitioner. He is a medical intuitive, energetic healer, and paranormal conduit. Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show,
Doctor.
Christopher.
Oh, thanks, Joe. Jennifer, bless your heart. And thanks for having me. Great to be here.
Great. So just for our listeners, Dr. Macklin, I'm saying that correctly, correct, Macklin? Okay.
Yeah, just call me Christopher. Chris.
I'll call you, buddy. Oh, chap. All right.
All the other stuff is all drivel, as far as I'm concerned. So, yeah.
We love it.
Bless you.
So, Dr. Christopher is a powerful channeling medium and healer from England. He's now here in the States. He utilizes his divine healing techniques that he cultivated to help people recover from all types of illness, which I will love, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later. He's able to heal many people simultaneously. Maybe you could help me with my talking because today is a little challenging. And he also does rebalancing of the body's energy fields by clearing chakra points and cleansing the body's meridian field by removing blockages and negative energies. He's a highly aware psychic child born in Chester, England, and he's able to perceive energy fields, spirit activity, and multidimensional phenomenon since you were a young child. So thank you so much for joining us. I have many, many, many questions, which I probably asked and blank out earlier because about halfway through my brain will be like, there's too many questions.
That's always the way.
Yeah. So we always like to just start out like, your background. How did this come about? Tell us about early childhood, developing your whatever you call them, your gifts or your skills or your energies, however you like to talk to them or tell us about them. Here we go.
Absolutely. Well, I was born as a Melchizedek being. I've got 84% Melchizedek DNA. Not that it matters, but it does matter. So anyway, you're born, and they realise, you've got to remember the reptilian elements and everything else monitor you. They know exactly what you're going to do, when you're going to do it, and they don't want you to do it. So 2 days after I was born, 8 strokes, got targeted. When I was 4, I burnt my back really badly. And this went on and on. But anyway, so when I was 4, I came out of hospital. So I spent 2 years in hospital out of the 4 years. And I came back and I was lying in my bed one day, and the first encounter happened. I was in my bedroom, sort of, thing. What's that? I was thinking, Dad, there's a reptilian thing. And I didn't know what it was. In my room, and I knew it was real because you get, when they're in your presence, you get this really heavy feeling in your chest. Dad, so he comes running. What? There's a reptilian thing in my bedroom. It's over there, and he. Where? It's there, Oh, it's a bad dream. Usual silly stuff. So go back to sleep. And, anyway, it was still there. So I don't know where it came from. At the age of 4, I just got this might, and I didn't shout. I just get out of my bedroom and got this power, and it left. I thought, wow. And then I had lots of encounters with, I saw craft, even in the playground when I was 6 or 7. I can see through the veil and so, there's a flying saucer there. And where? And I realize people can't see it. And it is a gift, seeing through the veil. And I still to this day, I remember even about a month ago, sitting in the front, I decided to look through the veil, and there was a horse with a guy just at the side of it, through the veil. And my wife could hear it, but she can't see it. I could see it. Anyway, as soon as I tuned in, he knew I was looking at him. He looks back and he goes, okay, got on his horse, put his hat on and rode away. So there's a lot of activity here. There's Native Americans wander here. Okay. And, I never move them on unless they're tumultuous because I think, they deserve to be here, So, yeah. Anyway, moving on, went to school, severe dyslexia, remedial class. And then, because I couldn't spell for toffee, I was brilliant at maths and moved forward. Anyway, I left school and then I was sponsored to get a degree, got a degree. Of course, my father said, you're too thick to get a degree. So, we're going to get one of those. Too thick to get a master's. We're going to get some of those as well and PhDs. And And I went exactly the opposite because I think he's just very third dimensional. And so, anyway, doing well, got great jobs in, flight control systems and guidance systems, whatever, and then suddenly in 2007, I had this great idea. Let's build 176 apartments. Oh no. Bought the land. Oh no. Started refinancing it, and then the market crashed. And the bank who I was dealing with, they phoned up and said, these apartments that were worth, £220,000, they're now worth 90. So you've got 30 days to pay all the money back. I was like, so anyway, marriage split up, everything split up, everything fell apart. And I ended up in a car, living out of a car, which is actually a real blessing because at that time, if you imagine the pressure of the money, suddenly all that disappears and you just feel free. And then after that, I went on the journey. I traveled around, went to India, went to all over Europe, Gambia, Spain, everywhere, doing healings, went all over the UK, and was sponsored to go to Belize. And that was where I really learned about my past lives and I think it's important, no one cares who you are in a past life, oh, I was in or somebody. It's what matters now. But the fact is, if you can correlate the past life to what you're doing now, you think, oh, yeah, I'm moving my gift forward. So I went to Belize to a place called San Ignacio, and there's a Mayan temple called Chantovich. And I went on top of there, and it was just like they were showing me visions, all sorts of stuff. It really amped my power up. And when I went back to the hotel room, it was really interesting because I was watching. It was like a 3D movie. They were showing me my past lives, and I was just, honestly, it was just like a 3D TV in my room.
Right in front of you.
Okay. And I get it. I'm meant to be doing that, and so I focused on healing. But right through my whole life, there's definitely a issue with. Definitely an issue with if you've got gifts and they know what you're going to do, they really want to stop you. They don't want you to achieve it. And that's, I can tell people and it's hard. Sometimes they just attack you like, with reptilians and, entities, they attack and attack and attack. I see that all the time. But sometimes they go further than that. I mean, they've tried 290 times to take me out. The last one was 224. They used a low frequency energy weapon. Because my heart is very big, They said, oh, it's heart failure and this, that, and the other. So anyway, I realized that, the surgeon checked it all over. He said, well, we can't use TAVR, to replace the valve because they'd melted the cups of it with its low frequency energy weapon. We're going to have to do open heart surgery. So that was a real problem. So anyway, I ended up, having open heart surgery, and here we are. We're still here. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm meant to be here. Absolutely.
There's no stopping you.
No stopping me. I mean, you've got to have an inner strength like you'd never believe, And I think it's really important because if not, then they're going to win. And I think it's all about taking your power back. That's what I teach people. Forget about gurus. Forget about all this nonsense. You are your own guru, but people don't realize it. What you've got to do is deal with the trauma in your life. I mean, just coming here is traumatic. The place is nuts. If you want a vacation, don't be coming down here. You need to go somewhere.
I think that knowing your past lives does give you more energy, and not so much physical, but mentally too. Is that if you were to pass, you're coming back. It's. I think that, and plus, you learn a lot more than most people know.
That's an interesting point, actually. It's funny because I remember when I first got to America, because, I became a citizen in 2017, but I came here in 2010. I went to Alaska, and this lady wanted to put like $30,000 behind me, and I want to sponsor her, I realized she was just interested in me. No, we're not interested in that. So, but what she did do is she gave me a huge folder, from a well-known author that I don't read because I've got dyslexia that much. So, but anyway, I opened the first page, and it's exactly what you said. The things that you take for granted are other people's come to Jesus moment. I thought, okay, so what do I know? And I sat back and I thought, actually, quite a bit. You don't realize, you know what I mean? Because you just know it. It's your knowing. And when you share that information, it's like, wow, that's amazing. So yeah, that was a real eye opener. But I think the other thing about coming back is that I think with starseeds, there's less than 1% people with starseeds on this planet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if you remember that, 75% of all the 8.7 billion are non-player characters. They've got AI souls. They're just robotic people. So there's not that many now. They know who they are, and they're going to relentlessly try and shut you down. They're going to attack you. They've got many ways to do it, just by attaching to you and things like this. So the starseed people have a really hard job. The tougher your life is, the more you're going to do in life. And you know what I mean, because they do not want you to do it.
Is that a jealousy thing? Are they jealous that starseeds are just so in tune with themselves and
no, exactly, because they want to shut you down. They do not want you to achieve all the goals that all the starseeds are going to do, because of course they want to control the planet. But now it's their grip is failing.
Good.
Yeah, because people, we even in the paranormal, we talk about attachments, and that's what it is. They're attaching to people, and the people don't see that, obviously, but
is that
they can attach to people and not have that person even know it and bring them down.
Are they doing that, Christopher, through social media, or is that more of an in-person thing? How do they try to control you, or is it everything?
So what they're trying to do is stop you. What they're doing is upsetting them, and so they do a lot of things, and people don't realize you can get spiritual rape, you can get attachment, you can get manipulation. They can do like what they call kind of entity rituals, where they're sending darts of energy at you all the time. I've seen so many things, and I've had women in tears, like, I'm being raped, but by I don't know what, and what we do is remove it. But of course, the biggest thing I think with starseeds is you've got to get rid of that trauma, because all starseeds will go through trauma. You chose the family that's dysfunctional. A lot of things happen. My father's, what is he, a crabby old shit, really. He's better now, but he always berated me, like, you're not good enough, you're not, and I've got dyslexia severe because my brain doesn't work the way and a lot of starseed people do. So I think by working on that trauma, you take your power back, and then you can really get out there. Once you got the power, you can really do some things.
What would be one thing that somebody could do to protect themselves from these like energy bursts coming towards them?
Well, we've got a prayer. The power. I don't like the word prayer, actually, because it's very Christian. And as you know, I'm not a Christian, but I abide by Jesus' teachings because I like them. I think they're brilliant. No judgment. Look after others as much as you can, and everything else. But so I call them maps of intent. But we have a prayer, a map of intent, and it's called the 27 Esoteric Merkaba Field Prayer. And then we're developing that, because as they get more prevalent, and as they get more rambunctious and want to really attack you, then you need to amp the prayer up. And now we're up to 27 layers of energy. So what you're doing is, the prayer goes like this, I am of God, I ground myself to the earth. Dear God, I command that you put 27 esoteric Merkaba fields around me to protect me from any negative entities, fractals thereof, manipulations and transmissional frequencies that are not for that my highest good through all space-time continuum in every dimension. It's one of the most powerful prayers on the planet, and it really does help. Because when you're healing people, think about this, if you're just there and someone sends you some energy, within like half an hour, the energy drops off and you're going to get another attachment because you've got no protection. So the biggest thing about doing healings is making sure people protect themselves. I use portal and Merkaba fields so that when you're doing the healing, no entity can get near you, so, and I think that's quite important.
Now, you said that you had traveled, kind of extensively to different countries. What place felt the most spiritual for you? What place did you feel the most comfortable or at home?
Probably India. I think India. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of places where it does feel good, but India was, I think more spiritual. I mean, there's a lot of issues there, of course, but where I went to the Punjab region. I don't know what I was thinking when I went to McLeod Ganj where the Dalai Lama. I never met him. I always wondered why. I wonder why, but that's another story. So anyway, but I went there and I met some really great people, and it was a great process. But Belize, there was a lot of power in Belize. I mean, there's a lot of issues there as well, of course, but my experiences there was really like blowing me wide open. And after that, everything changed. And I would love to tell the viewers as well. It's interesting because 20 years ago, was it 2000? Actually, it's about 2000, 26 years ago. Time flies.
Yes.
I got a reading in England, and it was just outside Liverpool, a bit of a rough place called Birkenhead. So anyway, I booked this reading. These people said, God, this woman's amazing. Da, da, da. So I turn up. She's about 84. She comes out. Oh, come in, So I sat down. And, I was doing all this avionics stuff and everything else, earning tons of money or whatever. So she said, well, let me start the reading. Thank you. Thank you. And I was sitting there. Thank you. Wrote it all down. She goes, well, you're gonna get remarried. Okay. You're gonna move to America. Okay. You're gonna do healing and live off donations. And I was thinking to myself, what? Okay, here we are,
Yeah.
And 26 later. So I always remember that because, people often say, well, how am I going to live? Everything else. That's not your deal. Your deal is to get your gifts, spread them out, and where the energy goes, love goes, money flows. It's just an energy exchange. And I really believe that. And some people have disagreed on podcasts. Oh, well, but I'm living proof,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
before you came to America, did you have any preconceived notions about what it would be like, and how did it change once you got here? Is it better or worse than you expected?
No, I actually love it because I think people are a lot more open here, and I think spiritual wise, I've traveled all over America, different unity churches and different, angelic centers and whatever. And I've been so well received. I mean, I think people are really open, a lot more here than in the UK, actually, so it's been amazing. But, and people have always been really grateful. I mean, I remember going, when I first started, I basically registered Christopher Macklin Ministries as a 501c3. So we started and build it, they'll come. So, okay, I'll open the doors and nothing happened. 3 months went by, nothing's happening. I said, okay, what's going on? They said, it's within, get out there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I packed up my bags and I started with small, these small like spiritual gatherings where people sell a few crystals, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
I went to one of them, and the first one I went to, I was slam busy. I was shocked, because no one knew me. And yet every single day for 3 days, I was doing healings and I had a queue, and anyway, I finished it. I don't understand this. How did this happen? And it's not for us to know, if your energy is right, people get, attracted to it, and I think that's so important.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even with like my self-help stuff that I talk about, affirmations and stuff, people don't realize, and they have things you put on your brain or in your head that measure your brain waves. People don't realize that the energy that you think of becomes energy out of your mind. It actually really does go out into the universe, and people don't understand that. And it's a measured thing. I mean, they've had people sit in these things that aren't even touching their head, and they're basically, I'm not reading, but basically reading their thoughts because the energy does flow.
I think also there has been a manipulation by the Dracos and everything else with firmaments and things to try and get the God frequencies and block those God frequencies. So to manifest in this time, in this energy right now, you need to be like 10 times more the power. So you've got to really get that power. So the dipoles, which are nerve endings, really send that energy out. Otherwise, it doesn't work. I mean, I've taught manifestation, but I have a quick one which is really interesting, and it's a system, and you may not like this, but it's using the pentagram. So people say, "Oh, it's dark." It's light or dark depending on how you use it. So what we do is we use the Magi or Melchizedek writing, and you've got 5 points: who, what, where, when, why. And I've taught this, and if you use the angelic writing, you put your name, write it backwards, put it in the angelic writing, and then what do you want? Well, maybe you need a car, so, okay, I need a car to get to work, or I need a minibus to take the disabled kids to the swimming pool. That's a God thing. If you say, if you put there, I want a Bentley to show off around town to all the ladies, I don't really think you can get it from God, So, but anyway, so what you want. So
Joe
you write it
needs
down.
one. Joe needs one. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, off the ladies.
We're trying to find him a lady.
I had a Bentley one time, and I kind of look back and think, why the heck did I buy that? The only thing it's good is at the lights, when the lights change. I had a Mini, and I always remember in England, the Mini was trying to, go faster, and so I'd just stay back for a bit, and then it's like, suddenly catch up and then stay back. I thought, okay, let's show them what a Bentley can do. Took off. But besides that, it's just an expensive bit of tin on wheels.
Mm-hmm.
But so what do you want? Where do you want it? Where do you want it delivered? In your driveway, in the dealership, whatever. When do you want it? You can only manifest right now. So I said in the now. And then why do you want it? And that's the biggest thing, because I want to help the disabled kids, or I want to go to work so I earn money for my family. And, I've got people to do that. And it's, you burn it and just do a prayer and release it. And it works, every time. So it's a bridge between trying to get the power of your mind and actually, doing sacred geometry. So, yeah, but it's been incredible. I mean, I always chuckle, we built a house, I've got food on the table. And during my journey, I've been 21 days without food, 15, whatever. And even just to have a plate of food, I just like, wow, thank you, God, for this blessing, because, it's incredible. So to me, gratitude and surrender, all these things are mapped into, into manifestation. They really are.
Yeah. It's, you see it so much. People just have this fear of missing out. Like, I have to have this and I have to have this. But you can just find joy in a simple thing. Like, getting a nice bowl of ice cream. I'm in heaven, right? Like, just give me some ice cream. I'm happy.
And it's almost like the finish line constantly moves anyways.
Yeah.
So once you get that thing, if it's not something that really helps either you or the universe, you're going to have to move on next, because you're not going to be happy. Then you're going to say, well, I'll be happy if. Yeah,
and it's always if. What you got to do is be happy right now.
Yeah. Is that ego though? Are you chasing ego when you want more and more?
Oh, I think so. Yeah, because you think, it's all about ego. And I think when you lose the ego thing, I mean, I lost mine a while back. I got very humbled when I went bankrupt. It was incredible, and it's like having an 8x4. And I went through a lot of emotion, of course, because what you find is the people who are really close to you and really care about you, which there's virtually nobody. Versus the fake people who just run a mile. And I even found my brother at one day. I was in the south of England. I had no money for food. It was raining. I was in this Volkswagen Polo that I lived out of, and I gave him a ring. Oh, sorry, I'm in a meeting. And he worked for Royal Dutch Shell, and I'll call you back in an hour. 2 months went by, nothing. So it taught me a lot about things, and it's kind of heartbreaking. But what turned my life around is actually realizing that your off-planet beings are there 24/7. The Melchizedek beings are there 24/7. So if you're feeling upset, you can just talk to them. And once you've connected with them, it's just incredible, because you get the answers back, and they're there for you 24/7. And that's what's kept me going. Because, for a lot of people now, and I see it because I work with about 3,000 people a week, and people are really losing it at the moment. And I think, the biggest thing you can do is just get, like you said, get the smallest things, the smallest things, like just hug a tree, or get a nice little dinner going, or it doesn't matter what it is, small. Go out, and walk in the yard, just enjoy the nature, because there's so many things that are fractured that that's not our deal. Get out the matrix and just enjoy, put some music on.
And people don't see, I mean, they see our dimensions, they don't see the seventh dimension. They don't see that, and they're there. We just aren't open to them yet.
Exactly. Yeah, we can't see through the veil yet. I mean, I can, but but I shut it down as well, because if you look through the fourth dimension, you can imagine going to a restaurant and seeing all these attachments on people, reptilian things.
Yeah.
Let's get out of here. So I just shut it down. So I just try and ignore them and just enjoy your dinner.
Mhm.
But,
it would be overwhelming to constantly see, and experience that, knowing that, people don't realize that they have those kinds of attachments.
Yeah, we talk to people about that all the time. It's people, we talk to psychics and mediums and that, and they say the same thing, is they have to shut it down because it can be overwhelming, especially if we go to a lot of conventions, and the amount of people, the amount of different kinds of people that are there is just so overwhelming that you have to learn to step it aside and shut that down.
You really do, actually, yeah. And enjoy your life as well, and find like the things, the simple things in life. I think life has got a lot harder. Someone said, I've been hearing a few people, saying, 80% of people on this planet are awake, and I'm looking at them. I think I'm on a different planet because I'm not seeing it, but hey, who knows? And they're not awake, But then, it's hopefully they are, little by little.
You mentioned reptilians, and I'm very interested in knowing, how common are they? Are they a physical being or interdimensional? Do we all have them around us? Should we fear them? I get a little scared. Like, we went to a place, somebody told me there was one in the building, and I actually got a little, I want to say upset, but I worried. I was like, where is it? Does it want to eat my face? I don't know. But tell us more about them.
Well, there's a few types of reptilians. I mean, there's the Anunnaki. They're the most common one that attach to people. They can, they normally live in the fourth dimension, but they can switch here as like a spirit, or they can shapeshift into an actual being. Oh. And, and sometimes you can tell, because when you're talking to somebody, you get this really dark, like, feeling in your chest. And if you ever do that, again, map of intent, you can actually identify them. If you do a map of intent and just look in their face, now I wouldn't speak it out loud, because what the heck are you on about? But, what you can do is ground yourself. I am of God. I ground myself to the earth. Dear God, I command you, show this person in their true form. And I thank you, God. They can't hide from that. So what happens is you get like an overlay, like an opaque overlay of the reptilian entity they are, and they can't hide from that. So yeah, it's really interesting.
Do they?
But anyway, there's Anunnaki. Sorry, go on.
Do they have the ability to go wherever they want?
Yeah, I mean, they can float, they can switch in time, space, and but when they're here, I mean, they actually are a being. I remember a radio host. He was very famous, and he came for healing. He said, I don't understand why, when my wife gets angry, she's like 5'4", very slight. When she gets angry, she throws me across the room like 20 feet. Oh, what's going on, And I said, well, she's got an attachment. I said, what happens when she gets angry? That attachment gets all riled up, and then suddenly it'll switch in this dimension for a quarter of a second while the person's not looking, throw them, and then switch out again. And then you're looking back thinking, wow, how did you do that? Well, it wasn't her. It was actually an entity attached to them. So, Now, Anunnaki, they tend to sit in the abdomen, hang on the shoulders and neck. So shoulders and neck always tight. Abdomen gets bloated. It affects the liver and kidneys. It taps in the lower back. So the L4R5 disc becomes bulging. After a while, it destroys it, even though it's energy. And it sends you negative thoughts, So you go out to work and no one likes you here. You're going to get fired. You get these horrible thoughts, but they're always you thoughts. Now, you also get draconians. They do the same, but they're darker. If you get a draconian attached to you, then you're going to get sick pretty quick. But they're a lot lower vibration, more powerful, really. Anunnaki tend to be they'll just sit there as a parasite. Then you've got snake beings, and first and second dimensional snake beings, scarabäusal type things, octopus type thing. They attach to you. Then you've got second dimensional snake beings. They tend to lurk in the left or right shoulder, left or right hip, left or right breast. Then you've got archons. Now, these are connected to the new weaponry system, if you see what I mean. So the nanotech and the CRISPR technology. So if your DNA is altered, what happens is that your DNA is not compatible with your soul. And so your soul lifts out the body, in come archons. Now, they have no body. They are an energetic being, but they float through the second, third, and fourth dimension. And so when they attach to you, again, it affects your whole body. And then you've got the Luciferians. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, here we go.
These are the very snarly, cackly, horrible ones. They're the ones, I mean, they're connected to the Vatican. I'm not going to say too much more because they're the guys who attacked me, but they're connected to the Vatican. They're very snarly. So when they leave, when I escort them out, they kind of contort your body or speak through your voice box in a snarly, cackly, raspy voice. And so, that's the main ones that attach to you, So, yeah.
When you unattach them or kick them out, where do they go? They go.
Very good question. You have to make sure they go somewhere. It's like in a church, if someone's got a possession, you say, right, in the name of the Lord, I command you leave. It has to leave, but you've just pissed it off, basically. You've upset it. And so it's floating around the church. It'll just attach to somebody else.
Oh,
so with my healings, what happened is I actually, from the ultimate dimension, the Melchizedek beings are from the ultimate dimension. So to get them down here in people's bodies and do psychic surgery, we open portals from the ultimate dimension, 8 of them, then put it around them and then bond it into Merkabah fields, which is 8 pointed star. That means that the Melchizedek beings can come through. So when they escort it out the body, they're delivering it back to their dimension and they deal with it the way, because that's why I say, send them back to God with unconditional love and forgiveness. And then we're not judging it, send it back, let them deal with it, So you got to deliver these things safely. Otherwise, they're just going to float around and just attach to somebody else or attach back to you later on. So
yeah.
Are these things created or have they always been just there?
No, they've always been. Yeah, they've been. They weren't created. They've always been. They're negative factions who want to take over the world. And they've all got together. Basically, they've all got together to try and including the grey reticulars as well. I mean, that's another lot, got a lot to say about them if you want to talk about them, but they're all there to try and manipulate and take over the planet because, they want to reduce the oxygen so the reptilians can come up above. So it's a fight for the planet. It's amazing, really.
Yeah.
Do they do this to other planets that have?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they have done. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, when you say that they attach to us, like you were saying specific spots, are they a specific size or can they manipulate the energy to that spot? In other words,
they actually their energetic body physically attached to you. So,
okay.
I mean, Anunnaki are something like, they can be like 9'8" to 12'7". They're big guys, same with the Draconians. So, when they attach to your body, although, they're supposed to energetic, there's still some sort of pressure from the amount of energy because of the size of it. So, it does affect you, of course. And it's just riding around you and it's hanging on your shoulders and neck. So they're all tight,
I always have this tightness in my neck and I have supposedly arthritis in my neck. It's kind of like bone on bone. And I'm like, I always feel this pressure, and I just thought it was because I was short and I have arthritis. Yeah.
No, it can be attachment. I mean, I can do a demonstration if you're interested, before we finish the podcast. It's up to you guys, but just to remove some entities and give people a bit of energy.
All right. Do these things scare you or are you indifferent to them?
Yeah.
Hey,
no, we're taking them on. Nothing. Actually, it's funny. Jennifer, I got to a point where I think I dealt with all the trauma in my life, everything else. And I got to a point where actually nothing scares me.
Okay.
So to me, that's correlated to absolute faith. So think about this, if you've got somebody and they come in your house and they're pointing a gun at you, they're just about to squeeze the trigger. You can do one or two things. You can go, oh my God, I'm going to die. And you're going to create your own death, in my opinion. This is my opinion.
Yeah.
Or you can turn around and say, do you know what? You can't touch me, full stop. There is no doubt. What would happen is as they're squeezing the trigger, the universe will intervene. So the gun jams. the guy just collapses and faints, or many things could happen. But if you have that absolute faith, you will create another reality. And I don't know many people actually who have that level of faith. But I think if you can get there, you can create extraordinary things. Yeah.
You said that, and all I thought about is my mom. She's 93, and she's got the most determined faith. Nothing stuff. She's like, I'll get on a plane. I don't care. Nothing scares her because she knows that she's gonna, where she's going after she passes.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. You never die. You just transition to a much better place than this. We're just here to help out.
Yeah.
We're doing our best. How well are we doing? Who knows? But we're just spreading our wisdom and everything else.
How do you feel about people who use crystals or copper or elements of the earth? Is that helpful, or is that just hype?
No, I think it's helpful. I think if you use them in the right way, all those sort of things are helpful. With crystals, I've got one here. I've got a Merkabah. It's just a rose quartz crystal. In fact, we were donated. The ministry was donated a £1,300 quartz crystal. It was a rose quartz, and I had to pay for the transport for it to come down from. It was in Los Angeles to bring it down to Branson. But it's absolutely beautiful. But yeah, they are powerful. Okay. The things about them is that you've got to remember that entities can get within them as well. So it's very important to remove any entities. The crystal, again, we have a matter intent. If you put your hands around the crystal, focus on it, you can remove those and optimize its vibration and program it with the blueprint of your DNA, which means that no other entities can get within it. It's programmed to your frequency. And I think that's really important. A lot of people don't get that, and they think just put it in sunlight or something else, moonlight and things like that. Doesn't really work. You've got to really deeply program it. So again, all these maps of intent, they're there for people to use. Use them if you want.
So that we've always said is it's the intent that you put into things. You could have a ghost hunting equipment or whatever, or dowsing rods or whatever, but it's the intent that you put into them that give. I don't know if I should say the power, but like you said, it's all about the intent.
Well, the intent is energy, it's firing out energy, and you're putting that intent and, you're bonding it into that crystal. Yeah, it's your energy, it's incredible.
Sort of like when you were talking about affirmations, and I always say, you ask people, well, what do you want? They always say what they don't want. It's like, no, what do you want? Be very specific,
Well, when I did that pentagram thing, we burnt it. We did a workshop, and this lady said, "Well, I want a vehicle." And so she was offered a huge van, almost like a truck.
Okay.
I said, "Well, I didn't want a truck because I just want to go to work." And she was an old lady, so I said, "Well, you got to redefine it. You got to tell them, like, maybe Chevy, maybe a car, so that you get the right sort of level of thing. That's really important to define it." But
you have to be specific. So, okay. So, I will write that down. Would I say I wanted to manifest a husband? So I would just make a list.
What age?
Right?
What does he like? What does he look like? What is he,
Does he do the washing up? Does he does he do the housework? Oh, bless you. Well, I actually wrote a book on that. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's called Manifesting an Abundant Life. So, it's all in there. So the pentagram thing is there. Plus, to going forward to that, to having an abundant life. I'm living proof of this, honestly. The ministry is very successful. I'm very grateful for it. We've got an amazing team. We've got 9 staff, who look after people. And, I never thought in my wildest dreams when I was in England, I'd be sitting here today thinking, I'm doing healings for a living. What? So, it's insane, But here we are.
You were told that lady told you.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. And I was going, what? She's probably not around now. She's about 84, but, I was going, okay, it resonated. But at the same time, like, is she nuts or what's going on here? That one was absolutely spot on. Best reading I've ever had. So, wow.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's amazing.
You never know. So hold on to everything.
Do you ever have people just like randomly coming up to you and just feel comfortable enough to start telling them their life story? Because it happens to me a lot.
Oh yeah, all the time, And I see it in stores sometimes, or you sometimes go for a quiet beer and someone come up to you and by
Yeah.
the time you finish, you think, I feel exhausted. I remember a particular one, I went in one of our local stores. I don't like things like Walmart, but it's a grocery store, and I was standing in the queue, and this guy just turned around and said, "Hi, my name's Joe." And then you can see he was thinking, "Why am I telling you this?" And he's trying to compute, like, why have I just? I said, "Hi, Joe. It's lovely to meet you." And yeah, it was amazing because people recognise, I think, the energy within you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've had a lot of people. Sometimes they turn their head, they don't know why, but they're watching, and yeah, they tune into your energy. They know you've got a great energy.
That must be it, because every time I go to a store, the entire store will be empty, but the one person in the store will come up and have to look at what I'm looking at or be right next to me. And I'm like, are they trying to get in my purse, or are they just like
Drawn to your energy?
drawn to my energy?
Mm-hmm.
It was, you know what happened today? Okay, so I went to work. I left work. I went to get my nails done. Hello. But right before I went to get my nails done, I stopped at the cemetery. I wanted to talk to my dad because I've got some decision I want to make. So I like to go out and talk to my dad. He's, I stopped by his grave. The entire cemetery, not a car in it, except for one car parked right in front of my dad's grave.
Was it somebody we know?
No, I don't think so. I didn't recognize. Well, I didn't see them. They were kind of like maybe sleeping in the car. And I was like, of all the times in all the cemeteries, this time, this person is parked right in front of my dad's grave because he's kind of right off of the, roadway in the cemetery. And I'm just like, do things like that have meaning? Like, does that mean something?
Oh yeah,
Like signs and
various things can happen. You get birds, you can get people just turning up. I think very often it's a sign to say, "Hey, I'm connected with you," because it doesn't make any sense otherwise. I remember years ago, my best friend died, and we had to take his two kids on with my ex-wife, and he died walking, in Scotland, and his wife was ill, and it's a long story. Anyway, we got the phone call because one of the kids was staying with us, and another one was staying with somebody else. We got the phone call for police. Do you know where the girls are? And yeah, one of them's with us, and well, can you get them back to your house? Get the other one back to your house. Anyway, moved on, and anyway, I just felt it. I said, okay, what's going on? And they said, yeah, Roger's dead. Oh God. So and it was incredible, but after we'd told them and everything else, I asked Roger for a sign, and there was 16 doves. I've never seen 16 doves together in this beautiful tree, and and I thought, oh, thanks, Rod, for bless his heart. I'll never forget that. It's a tough story. I can never say it without getting tearful, but now I can. But he's amazing. Bless him.
Do you ever experience people coming, like they have passed away, coming to you in your dreams?
Oh yeah, they come to me as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes they come and not so much now, but certainly in dreams. Yeah. When I was really sick, when I had that heart thing where they melted the cusp of the heart valve together, of course, the guy said, "Oh, it's genetic." It's not. I've had my heart scanned before, and it was tricuspal. Now it's bicuspal. But I was getting really sick, and I started to feel my life force. And I thought, I haven't got long to live here. So anyway, 1 a.m, Mother Mary appears, because she's one of the Melchizedek beings, but she stayed in the ethers. She came and she said, "Do you want to stay or go?" I said, "Well, that's a stupid question." And she goes, "Okay, I was only asking." She left. And because everything like that is a crossroads. It's your choice. I could have chosen to leave, but I chose to stay because I've got work to do. A lot of work to do. And so I'm honored for coming, but
Yeah.
But asking me, "Do you want to stay?" is like, "Oh no, we're staying." Because I love it. But it's not easy on this planet. It's really not.
It isn't, because I think people are very hard on themselves. I think they don't understand, or maybe we're never taught that there is so much more to life than just waking up, going to work, making money, paying bills. There's
yeah.
joy, there's
Well, you get stuck in them.
experience.
You get stuck in the matrix. I mean, you end up on a hamster wheel running. The smoke's pouring off the bearings because you're going, I've got to go here. I've got to do the soccer mom stuff. I've got to do this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
And you don't give yourself time. I mean, I don't work like that anymore. I'm completely detached from the matrix, not interested. The only thing I have to do, of course, is pay your taxes because all 501c3 you have to pay your taxes. But I don't agree with that either. But of course. But I think generally, I mean, we're programmed that if you have a day where you're busy doing absolutely nothing, you feel guilty because you did do nothing. But sometimes it's just okay to sit there and just let your mind go and enjoy and decompress and let the day go by. And I do that a lot. And I don't share myself at all, but I get people, well, I was going to clean the house, and I didn't do it, and I didn't do it yesterday, I didn't do it today, and I said, yeah, but there's always next week. I mean, why are you worried about it?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. What matters is you, because with the solar flares and the solar storms and all the things happening, I think our bodies are changing, and it's affecting people big time. People are absolutely wiped out. Exhausted, they've got aches and pains because the whole body's changing. And of course, because the level of anxiety at the moment, a lot of people are getting back issues because you've got a load of emotion. And so things like the IT band tightens up at the side of the what do you call it, at the car, just at the top, between the knees and the joints, in the hips, and they tighten up, they pull the whole thing out. So your back's always out. And that's why you got to do self-care now. I mean, I go to the chiropractor once a week. I do a massage once a week. If I don't, I'm in trouble, because the amount of people you speak to, and of course, if you're an empath, you're going to take some of their emotion on. You can't help it,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so it's self-maintenance is really important.
It is. I just went to Florida and got my feet in the ocean. The water was very cold, but I always feel like going to the beach is healing. Being on
Oh yeah, it is.
sand
Oh,
and
yeah.
the water and the sunshine.
And that's why I do the
beautiful.
float sessions. It's the same thing. The water and the salts and everything just get into you, and it helps.
the ozone.
Energy.
Beautiful.
For our listeners, I know that you do psychic surgery and entity removal. Can you tell us what that exactly happens when you do that?
Well, what we do is, I do
No.
sessions like one-to-one specialized groups, whatever. But so what I do is talk to the person, find out, generally what's going on, then have a look in the body. I can remote view, and you see an empty, you see maybe the liver's running at 30%, so they've got brain fog. We can see if they've got any pathogens in their body, like Epstein-Barr, cerebellar zoster, which is chicken pox, is a strain of herpes, all manufactured. And then, stealth pathogens like Lyme, HIV/AIDS, Agent Orange. We look at all this stuff, Morgellons, and then, assess the body, have a look at the digestive. Big thing now is because of people's emotion, it's bleeding into the pancreas, and therefore the enzyme count's going down. So people are struggling to digest their food because there's not enough enzymes. There's so many things, thyroid's being affected. So many things are being affected by this level of emotion at the moment. And that's why I think, it's really important to detach. But what we do is put a portal around them, 8 portals, bond it into Merkaba fields. Then, we basically remove any entities. I comb the meridians. The way they do that is they just take their angelic hands down your body and kind of feel it. They comb any stuck, redundant energy. You can do it by acupuncture, of course, but the Melchizedek do it differently. Then I give them energy, either if they've got spirochetes and Nantet, which is Brilli Lyme, HIV/AIDS, Agent Orange, Morgellons, if they've got pathogens, if they've got bacterial, issues, we give them space-time continuum. It's very electrostatic, and it does break down the structure of these pathogens. It just takes too long doing that way. And we've got a protocol to do it a lot faster. And then if they don't have those, they get ultimate dimension energy. And then we work on the liver, kidneys, and, it's all psychic surgery, whatever they need doing. But you can feel the beings in there, so it's it's amazing.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I just feel like you're describing me like all the aches and pains and things and the healings that need to go on. I don't know why. I just
Well, stress will do that to you.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, your vibration drops. entities attack. I can do before we finish.
Yeah.
I can do a 5-minute demonstration if you want me to.
Okay.
But,
That would be great. When you're perceiving that somebody has an attachment or implant, do you see it like visually or intuitively or energetically?
I see it visually. Yeah, I can see it. My remote viewing, I don't know if it's the same as other people's remote viewing, but you see, like, you can get, it's almost like having windows in your mind where, okay, let's look at the liver. Yeah, right, that looks low. So, okay, ask them what percentage is it. It's about 24, 36, whatever it is. Look at the kidneys, look at the stomach, look at the brain, look inside the breast, look inside the womb, because, you're looking for tumors and things. I mean, we deal a lot with cancers at the moment because you got turbo cancer because, if you take the needly thing, because it damages your DNA, RNA immune system's all connected. So you've got no immune system. It's running about 16%, and that's why there's no fight. So, you look inside the body and, get a general thing. I've looked at the thyroid. Very often it's paralyzed because of emotion. And then, we make a plan. I make a list of the stuff on a sheet, and then we start working on it. It's amazing. And we even, also detox the body in a different way as well, because very often, in this toxic world, I mean, people that get struggling with their livers, they get fatty tissue. Of course, the doctors will tell you, well, it's drinking too much. No, it's not. It's actually because the level of toxin in the world is so high that your liver's just overloaded. Yeah. And so, so what we do is, because you're in a portal, what we're doing is switching heavy metals, toxins, mycotoxins, oxalates that come from eating greenery, and microplastics. We switch them out of this time to a different time in the body, draw them out of the body, time, space. So you feel like a weird breeze coming out of your body. It's amazing, So, yeah. And that's another thing, of course, oxalates. They come from eating greenery. We don't have 4 stomachs. We don't even have 2 stomachs. We have 1. And so you're not digesting greenery properly. So it creates toxins like oxalates, So, yeah, people don't realize that. Well, if you eat meat, it's been digested by the animal and therefore, a lot better for you, I know people are going to bark at that, but it's true.
Yeah.
Now, is this done in one session, or do you do it in separate sessions for each specific thing?
No, I do it in one session for each specific. Okay. The problem is that can you do it all? I mean, in one session, is it going to make a massive difference? Yes, it'll start making a difference. But for example, if you've got cancer, the primary cause of cancer is emotion. Secondary cause is pathogens like Epstein-Barr and all these things mutating the cells, turning a tumor. So if you've got emotion, it's bleeding into the breast or the womb or wherever it's bleeding into, low vibration allows it to mutate. So, you've got to get rid of the emotion. You've got to get rid of the pathogens, and you've also got to fry the symptom, which is the tumor. And so, we've got rid of that many times. Easy to do, but it takes a while because, releasing trauma doesn't happen overnight. And we do have a fast track method of releasing emotion. Because, for example, if you go to a psychotherapist, psychologist, psychiatrist, they do great work. You go in the office, sit there for an hour, and they'll poke at something, and you'll bawl your eyes out and get upset. And then you'll transmute it, and then you talk about it. Then they'll poke at something else, and you get upset about that and transmute that. How many layers can you do now? Maybe, and I'm not criticizing in any way. I think they do great work. Maybe 6, 8, I don't know. I found a method of doing starting 81 releases in one go. That's a lot. Now, why can we do that? Well, as an empath, I mean, you guys, I feel like take things personally. If someone talks behind your back, you think, wow, how could you do that? When I was younger, in my 20s, about a week ago. When I was younger, I know. But when I was younger, someone talked behind my back. I thought, I just couldn't understand it. It's not in my repertoire to do that because I'm about honesty. And so I used to get really kind of upset to the point of almost throwing up. So it's important to, when you're doing this, as an empath and as a starseed type person, you're going to ingest way more emotion than the average human being. So if you've got 150,000 layers, what the Melchizedek beings do is they go within those layers, and it's energetic. They pull the biggest layer affecting you right now, the energy. As they pull it out, you can feel a tightness somewhere in your body as it gets tighter and tighter. And then once it's released, you breathe it out from the heart. that energy's gone. So, and the next one. So, but you do get a residual reaction of the collective of those 81, but it's a residual. So, for example, 2 hours next day, you might bawl your eyes out, can get a purge of diarrhea because some people purge the intestines, can get yawning, coughing, burping, sneezing, or crazy dreams. So, yeah, so that was a big find because it really helps people move the trauma.
Mm-hmm. Is that the same as Reiki? I don't know the difference between that. Okay.
Reiki is basically symbology to focus the energy in this, in this dimension. The problem, it was good, 20, 30 years ago. But again, my opinion is that, things have moved on. The energy in this dimension is not good. That's why you've got to do quantum interdimensional healing. Mm-hmm. I think that's really important. That's why, I work with the Melchizedek beings. Yeah.
That's interesting. Now, how would you distinguish if somebody has like a spiritual interference versus like psychological issue or some other type of trauma? I mean, is it all the same when you're doing a healing? Does it matter?
No, it's different. I mean, you can get a chemical balance where people get ADD, ADHD, OCD, PTSD, all these sort of things. With schizophrenia, and again, I've had people who actually disagree with me, but I think, my opinion, and when I look at schizophrenics, they function well, but they've got such a gift that they can talk to beings in a different dimension or see them or both. Mm-hmm. And the problem is they haven't been taught to not talk to the negative and to the evil ones. They, talk to the angelic ones all day, great, but don't be talking to the, the draconians or whatever, because they'll manipulate you. And they'll tell you, the problem is they can't discern because, when people are doing readings or anything like that, if you're doing a reading and connected to a reptilian, what could happen is it'll give you 3 truths, 1 lie. So, if you're doing, like Jennifer, if you're doing a reading, they say, well, Jennifer, you're doing a podcast. Wow, how did they know that? And you're doing this and that. Wow, and they'll give you 1 lie, like, and you should be moving to France, they're saying, and buy that house. It's got a pink roof, green doors, and a red whatever, and you think, oh, okay. So what will happen with that manipulation? You're going to take it on board, and you're probably going to go to France and look for the house, and you will find it. I mean, some crazy person has painted the house that color. You think, wow, they were right, and you'll buy that house. But what it's done is completely taking you off the spiritual path you should be on. Mm. So again, discernment comes in. If people are doing readings, you have to, before you do it, what percentage are they correct? Are they 100%? If they're not 100%, don't do a reading with them. It's really important. Mm-hmm. And that happens a lot. I've seen it. So, it's interesting. Just trying to help people get, the truth and get discernment so they're getting the right signals and the right information.
Oh gosh, that's a lot to think. My brain's like overload. Sorry. Let's see. Another question on your opinion about angels. Are there angels? Do they look like what they're portrayed with wing? Just the beautiful bodies and faces and hair and wings. Or is that something completely made up?
No, angels exist. Absolutely. And they're different ways. Some are from Palladius, some are from Andromeda, some are from Sirius, and there's archangels and then there's angels. But what makes it an angel, for example, is that when it's been on a journey like we've been on, and when it gets to that unconditional love where, the being itself has actually processed all the trauma and everything else that it's had in the past life and now, then it becomes angelic, where it really locks into like unconditional love. You can't take it away, and it's completely surrendered. So what's the difference between angel and archangel is that the archangels, not only they achieve that place of unconditional love where there's no judgment, but they're also very wise. They've got, wisdom beyond. So, for example, I've got the archangels here, like Archangel Michael, ancient Palladian, very, very good. I've had him actually come in my room before now with his sword and everything else. So yeah, he definitely exists. You've got Gabriel, Sirius. We've got Raphael, Andromedan. We've got Shamael from the Taurus, Venetian Taurus constellation. Jophiel, Lyran. We've got Zachiel, Orion, Raziel, Sirius B. There's so many of them. Ariel is Lyran. So they've all come from different constellations, around in this universe to really help us. But they're obviously, advanced. And then you've got the angels, which are, other ones which are less advanced. But, if you want, like Remiel, for example, Arcturian, not as advanced as, other ones. But I think, calling on the angels or the archangels, if you want some real help and you want wisdom, then the archangel is it. Michael's one of the favorites, I think. So, yeah.
How do you distinguish between your own inner voice and hearing their message? Like,
I think what you got to do is clear your mind. One thing I learned when I was, I found out, when I went to Belize, I found out my past lives. And, I asked them, can you show me all my past lives? And said, well, don't be so stupid. You can't fit that information into your brain, so redefine it. Okay, what about, and then they kind of intimated 4,000 years. Okay. So they showed me my past lives up till now. And, and so, it gave us the inspiration. But I think, that gives you the wisdom to be able to move forward and change your whole life. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So,
Do you think our fears come from things that happened to us in our past life?
Oh, yeah, a ton, I mean, some people are, there's so much satanic stuff that's been going on for thousands of years. Mm-hmm. Really, even before the Babylonian times, there's satanic rituals, there's burning people, there's torturing them, you name it. They find the most horrible ways of torturing people, and you've been there. You're going to have trauma. Mm-hmm. And it's, the thing is about this lifetime is this. It's important to realize if you want a proper human being, I'm not talking about an AI-controlled biological human being. I'm talking about a proper human being. You need the God energy of the woman's womb. So if you want to fertilize the egg, I always laugh. You start with flowers, candlelit dinner, fertilize the egg becomes a fetus. You've got 3 months to get a soul in. And so what happens is because the veil is so thin at the moment, what's happening is the soul's coming through and all the past life stuff like emotion and, hand chopped off, hung or whatever, mm-hmm. the cellular memory in the body is coming through on that soul and bonding to the fetus. So, before you're even born, you've got a load of trauma and you've got cellular memory elsewhere, So, again, we've got maps of intent. There's, on the website, we've got a meditation as well to release that because I think it's really important. Past life is coming through now and people are starting to process it. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's got a high impact.
I only ask because I have this terrible fear of bridges, and Joe and I travel a lot. So when we come upon a very large or bridge, I always have this and it's not the height. It's like not seeing the going up and not seeing the coming down part. I'm like, is this something that happened to me in my past life? Is that why I can't? I get
sweaty, I think it probably is
and freak out.
Bless your heart.
And my brother's very patient because sometimes I just have episodes when we're driving to either conventions or coming back. And
it's like once a year we have to go over the Mackinac Bridge and she just
my palms are sweating right now just thinking about it.
Yeah, there's some things that, but once you've released that, mm-hmm. It's just working on that past life trauma. Yeah. And everyone's got it, especially a saucy. You're going to be burned to the stake or something because just by doing this, what we're talking about tonight, we'd all be burned to the stake, in the 1800s and 1700s. So, life's got a little bit different. So, yeah.
Yeah. And so before we let you go, though, we would love to have a 5-minute.
If we could.
Yeah. Like you were saying.
Okay, let's do it. Let me just roll the sleeves up.
Ready to do
right. So, anyone who's listening, now in the future, It's just important to accept the healing. Say the prayer. If you don't want to do the healing, just basically say, no, I don't want it. And the Melchizedek beings will pull away. So what we're going to do is ground ourselves. So I want to say, so this is to the audience as well, of course. I am of God. I ground myself to the earth. And I accept this healing for my highest good. Right, what we'll do first is put a portal around you. So ultimate dimension. 8 portals around each person on this call right now and listening now and in the future. Close it off with them. Dear God, command to waste on these Merkabah fields around that person. With their sacred point in the center of the Merkabah fields, bonding the portals to the Merkabah fields, program blueprint of that person's DNA and the keys of Enoch. So it's not talking about anything except for the highest good to enter. Right, so we're going to remove any entities. So if you've got Anunnaki Draconian, they're going to escort them out of your body now. So you're going to feel a drawing of you from your torso out to your tummy button right now. If you've got a first and second dimensional entity, scarab beetle type things, octopus type things, you'll feel a lightness as they escort them out now. If you've got a second dimensional snake being, left to right shoulder, left to right hip, left to right breast, they're going to pull those out now. So you're going to feel a little raveling of kind of a spirit snake. If you've got archons attached to you, of course, connected to the needly thing, they're going to pull those out now. It's energetic, so you're just going to feel that negative energy draw out your body. Now, if you've got Luciferians, these things are very snarly, so don't forget, once they start leaving your body, they can talk your body or speak through your voice box in a cackly, snarly, raspy voice. So removing those now, I'm going to send them all back to God with unconditional love and forgiveness. So what we're going to do now is comb your meridians, get stuck redundant energy out of the meridians. So you're going to feel angelic hands going down your body or lighter where we've been. So going from your crown, down your face, the back head on the left, down your neck, cross left shoulder, down your arm. The right, we're doing the same. On the left, we're going down your neck, down your chest, down your abdomen, out to the hip. The right, we're doing the same. On the left, we're going from your hip down your thigh, over your knee, down your calf, out to the foot. And on the right, we're doing the same. Right, so 2 types of people on this call. I'm going to make sure that they're different because so if you've got spirochetes and Nantek, which is Borrelia Lyme, HIV/AIDS, Agent Orange, Morgellons, or pathogens like Epstein-Barr, cerebellar zoster, or valley fever, yellow fever, tetanus, anything like that, we're going to give you space-time continuum. So it starts off subtle, very electrostatic, staticky, buzzy energy. It's going to get stronger and stronger. Then it's going to plateau. And it's always good to know that, when we finish this call, if you move the computer at least 3 or 4 feet away, it'll get really strong, turn into more like electrostatic plasma. So I'm going to do a little bit of work on the liver and kidneys. So liver and kidneys should start to get warm, tingly. So we're going to work on the adrenals. Emotion bleeds into the adrenals. That's why everyone's adrenals are pretty toasty right now, because there's so much emotion. So we're going to work on the adrenals. You'll feel tugging, pulling them, clearing the emotion out. Now, if you've got fatty tissue on the liver, they're going to break that down. So you feel movement in there. And they're going to build it up with this very thick energy. I call it celestial goo. Whatever it touches, it recreates the same tissue with the same DNA. So feel cool pasting wrapping that. Now, if the liver's just paralyzed, say it's running at, I don't know, say 30, 35%, 20%. So as it gets higher, your head, it's going to start processing the toxins in your body. Your head's going to get lighter. So revibrating the liver, so it's going higher and higher. Head should be getting lighter and lighter. Higher and higher. Head should be getting lighter and lighter. Of course, the liver will be getting warm and tingly. Higher and higher. Head should be getting lighter and lighter. So it's getting towards 100%. Right, we're going to just work on the thyroid. So tugging, pulling the thyroid, just, again, emotion bleeds into it. So we're clearing it out of emotion. So feel movement there. Right, so what I'm going to do is detox the body now. So don't forget, I'm only doing, this isn't not a proper healing. It's just a short, demonstration. So what we're doing is, so you're in a portal. We're switching heavy metals, toxins, mycotoxins, oxalates, and microplastics out of this time to a different time in the body, drawing them out of space. So you're going to feel a weird cool breeze or a drawing sensation coming out your body. So if you focus on that cool breeze or drawing, it's we're going to step it up 3 times. Otherwise, if you do it too quick, it upsets the immune system, so it's going to get stronger. Then it's going to plateau. Stronger again. Then it's going to plateau. Stronger again. Then it's going to plateau. Right, so I'll do, let's do 5 heart shock releases because I don't want to run this for too long. So within those 100,000 layers, they're going in now and they're going to pull out the biggest emotion affecting you right now. So as they pull it out, you'll feel a tightness depending on where the emotion affects the body, either in the lower back, lower abdomen, solar plexus, breastbone, throat, upper back, shoulder, neck. Can be in the head or legs. So they're pulling it out now. You feel tightness, tighter and tighter. Now, when it lets go, breathe it out. It's really important. Second one, tight again. Maybe the same place, maybe a different place. Tighter and tighter. Breathe it out when it releases. Third one, tight again. Tighter and tighter. Breathe it out when it releases. Fourth one, tight again. Tighter and tighter. Breathe it out when it releases. Last one, fifth one, tight again. Tighter and tighter. Breathe it out when it releases. Okay, so I'll just do a closing map intent. Dear God, for everyone on the call right now or listening now and in the future, I command we create a sphere of ultimate dimensional unconditional love around you and every person on the Merkaba field to protect them from any negative entities, fractals thereof, manipulations and transmissional frequencies that are not for that person's highest good through all space-time continuum in every dimension. And so we thank you, God, send you our unconditional love. So be it.
Wonderful. Thank you so
Beautiful.
much. That was
Do
amazing.
you feel it?
I
I felt it right here.
You too?
Yeah, when he was
Yeah.
talking, I felt.
I felt like my shoulders.
Mhm.
And a little
Yeah, your
tingling.
shoulders and things should start letting go if you remove the entity.
Definitely.
And probably your intestines will start gurgling as well. So, bless your heart.
Clean the system.
Exactly.
That's
Flushing it all out. But no, we really appreciate
oh.
you just sharing all your knowledge with us. I could listen to you for hours. I would love that. But our time has come. If
Well, we can
anybody
do it again if you in the future.
Yes,
absolutely,
definitely.
we would love to have you back because we have millions more questions about millions of different things.
We have not even talked
We
about
haven't
the inner Earth or
Scratch
the
the
beat.
surface.
Yeah,
I know,
no.
Antarctica,
Yeah.
the firmament, and there's loads of
Yeah.
things.
But if anybody wanted to get a hold of you, or get a copy of your book, how would they do that?
Yeah, if you just go to the website, globalenlightenmentproject.com, everything's on there. You know, the healings, we could do one-to-one specialized groups. We've got, we also do 2 healings a week. It's by donation. It's basically, you know, if you've got no money, come on. It's really important to me. And that's Thursday night at 5 p.m. Central Time and Saturday, 11 a.m. Central Time. And it lasts for an hour. It covers a lot of things. Of course, does it cover everything? Probably not. But and yeah, all the books are there, meditations and all sorts of things to just help people. You know, that's what we're here for. Bless your heart.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. Thank you, Christopher, so much.
Yes,
I
we appreciate
I
you.
Oh,
was
thanks,
looking
Joe.
forward
Bless
to
you.
this, and we finally got you on.
Finally.
And
Thanks, Jennifer.
we really appreciate it. And thank you, listener, for tuning in this week. Like we always say, we really appreciate you. Please hit that subscribe button. Tell a friend about the show. And check out the show notes. We will put links to everything we talked about today. We'll put links to Christopher's websites, put links to Jen's book, my books. And thank you for listening this week.
Well, everybody has a peaceful week. And Christopher, again, thank you very,
Yes.
very much.
God bless. Thanks so much. God bless.
All right. Goodbye.